and welcome back to the Shuttlecock podcast. My name is Aaron Rhodes, and this week on the show we have Yana. How's it going?
I'm good.
Awesome.
Feeling good.
And
a little cold.
Yeah, it's been a little warmer than it has been recently, though.
Yeah. The weather has me like, I don't know if it's seasonal depression, but it's like weird.
Yeah, you'll have to. Hopefully, it warms up a little more soon.
Yeah, and I say that with a smile on my face, but.
But it's real.
Yeah, it's real though. Like, it's real.
Yeah, and also we need to give a quick shout out to our sponsor, the Vinyl Underground at Seventh Heaven. They have new and used vinyl at 76 and Troost. So shout out to them. Go check that out. And so yeah, I guess we'll just try to start at the beginning here and see what happens. So you were born in Alabama, is that right?
Okay,
right?
So I was born on Whiteman Air Force Base. And then, like, my parents were in the military, and then we moved everywhere. And so I never, like, really grew up in a place. But I claim Alabama because that's, like, where I started, like, my life. Like, I spent, like, 10 years of my life there. So.
Do you think there's, like, a lot of influence from being in that environment?
In Alabama? Musically, no. Family, yes. But I was, like, really insecure growing up. But I feel like that was necessary for my, like, development as a person. I feel like that's why I claim it. Because, like, looking back on Alabama, it was, like, development. Like, but, like, insecurity. But, like, insecurity that, like, I had to get through that, like, you know.
And so you said you were born on the Air Force Base, so you had military parents?
Yeah, my mom was my dad was in the military. And she, like, had me when she was, like, 17 years old. Yeah.
And, so what places did you said you kind of bounced around after, like, you were 10 years old, so where did you end up going after that?
So there's Wyoming, Alabama, Savannah, Georgia, because my dad went to SCAD, Atlanta, Georgia, and then Warrensburg.
Yeah. And so Warrensburg was kind of the last place you ended up before you ended up in the Kansas City area?
Knob Noster's, like, that embarrassing place that, like...
Yeah.
I don't claim.
Not a lot to do out there.
No, there's not. But, like, honestly, like, I needed that too. Like, it helped me. Like, it helped shape me because I was just different. I dressed weird. I was just, like, one of the few. Like, I could count all the black people that was there. There was, like, 5 black people. And we'd all just, like, you know, hang out and chill. But it was whack.
No, yeah. So, like, I'm sure, like, having to bounce from, like, town to town and also being black and being LGBTQ and, like, dressing different, like, it certainly can't be super helpful in most situations when you're, like, relocating all the time and stuff. Like, I'm sure, like, you know, if you're like a jock and, like, you fit in with all the cool kids, like, it's not a huge deal maybe if you have to move a bunch, but, like...
Yeah, since I, like, spent a lot of my life, like, moving around, I spent my life a lot of times, like, searching for my identity and who I was, like, always going through, like, just used to moving. Like, I was just so used to moving, or people, like, disappearing, or like, I remember one time my parents, like, right when they got a divorce, they're like, all right, we're moving. And I was just like, okay, this is the summer. I made all these friends. And so I, like, had to, like, keep getting in the cycle of, like, making friends and, like, losing friends. And so, but now I'm used to, like, people come and go.
And do you think that, do you ever feel, like, kind of restless just being in Kansas City? Like, how long have you been in the area?
Oh, I've been in Kansas City for, like, 5 years. Like, restless, like, how?
Just, like, do you kind of, like, feel ready to move again, even though, like, you might not want to?
Okay, so Kansas City, like, makes me feel, like, static and stuck. I don't feel stuck, but the air feels stuck. But I'm, like, I need to be pushed here, but I'm also, like... It's just, like, the dualities, you know, of, like, what I feel here is just, like, heavy. Because I want to move to Atlanta, Georgia, and I want to move, but I'm also, like, I'm here for a reason. I'm here in this moment doing what I got to do for a reason. So, like, I'm enjoying it, and I'm just present.
What about Kansas City do you think makes it feel static to you? Like,
the lack of diversity, but I also, like, come from... Because I've lived in the suburbs. I've also lived, like... You know, like, in Savannah, a lot of people don't realize there's, like, hood. Like, Savannah's, like, split. It's rich, and then there's, like you know, like, I don't know, the school I went to was just, like, mainly black. But Wait, what was the question?
Like, what makes Kansas City feel like?
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So, like, so Kansas City makes me feel stuck because, like, I've been in all these different places and I've felt stuck, but just Kansas City's, like, the scene just feels like, you know, there's just so much, like, talk. There's so much, like, conversation, but there's not a lot of doing. There's not a lot of action. You know, there's not a lot of, like, what are we going to do to keep moving, you know, instead of just talking about we're going to move or we're going to talk about moving. But I'm just like, you know, I see people moving, though, like, you know, like, this is a movement, like, you doing Shuttlecock and, like, creating a platform for artists. Like, I see the movements there, but it's still, like, static, you know? Like, how long did it take for this to happen, you know? How long did it take for the platform to occur in the city, you know? So it just feels like people get stuck here. But I feel like I can see that because I've been in the, like, I've seen people get stuck in the country and just, like, yeah, my grandfather, like, lived on this farm, like, all his life, and I live on it, and I'm okay with that, and my kids are gonna live on it, and I'm just like,
No, yeah, and that's kind of an interesting perspective that I feel like is uniquely one of someone who's lived in like 5-10 different places.
Yeah,
so.
that's true. I've never thought about that. Like, and also I'm like a Gemini, so I don't really do good with like consistency unless it's like working on craft or like building something or like knowledge. Like, that's like something I need.
Mm-hmm.
But when something's just consistent, it makes me feel uncomfortable. It makes me feel like I need change to flourish. I need to be like pushed. In Kansas City, like, I feel pushed, but like I need to keep being pushed, you know? Like, I've only been doing this for 6 months and I feel that, like, I'm just like, it just makes me think of the people who've been doing this for years, you know? Like, what platforms, like, where have they gone to get what they need, you know? Like, I know someone told me once that it took them 68 free shows before they got paid for their free show.
Wow.
Yeah. That's wild. Like,
Yeah.
And they're, like, talented. I'm just like, what? Like, that's a lot of, like, I don't know. That's wild.
So are you like not under the impression though that like the truly talented people will kind of rise to the top over time, or do you think like it really does take like some outside support and
I think it's
like a
both.
push? Yeah.
I think it's like both, like the support, you know, like local people like showing up not just for like mainstream artists and like just really showing up for like the local artists, like people who make their own music, like Kai Colors. He's like what he does is beautiful. He produces his own music. He spends time like on his stuff, you know, like, and he does have like support, you know, but I just feel like he could touch so much more, you know.
And like kind of another, like, I don't know if this is probably a little bit of the opposite from what you were saying, but like I had Alice she does Dead Dads Club in here the other, like a month or two ago, and she was talking about how she wants to move because she has been in Kansas City her whole life, and like her parents lived here, and like she's like, yeah, I don't want to live the exact same life my parents did. I want to go to like Chicago or somewhere else and do something like that. So I think it's kind of weird, like, I don't know, I just thought it was interesting, like how you moving all the time makes you want to move again, and her staying here for so long makes her want to move. So,
but then it makes me like wonder, like, how is anything going to change in Kansas City if all the great people leave, or like all the, like, you know, like, so it's just like, but I know like people in Kansas City, artists have thought about that, like, you know, and a lot of people have love for Kansas City because like it is like a beautiful city. There's like beautiful moments, but it's just, I don't feel connected to cities like that. Like when people ask me like, where am I from? I'm just like, oh, I don't really have a place. You know, I'm from Earth. I don't know. Like I moved around a lot. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. So you mentioned a minute ago that you've only really been like taking your music seriously for like 6 months or so.
Yeah. Or it could be 7 months. I need to like recalculate that.
Yeah. Get us an exact date. Like, was there like a real moment for you where you kind of flipped and you're like, okay, I'm ready to do this. Let's go.
Yeah. Okay. So my journey was exactly around this time last year. I was like very depressed and just like going through a lot of heavy stuff. I lost my cousin to like this. We don't really know why she died, but she was like the biggest support, like LGBT to me. And so like it kind of like tore me up for a moment, and just like that like end of the world type, like like I lost like my biggest support person, you know. And then just like I kept losing people, and then I just realized like I have myself. And then through that journey of like finding myself again, I started writing poetry and just writing like how I felt in a conceptual world, and like started like seeing these patterns of like life in a different like just like a different like lens. And then I like just wrote on Facebook and I was like, oh, I wish I could rap. Kind of whack. And then that's so funny. And then I was like, oh, let me just put like poetry to like some lo-fi like beats, and that's how I started. So I'd be like, oh, like, I wish we could play some lo-fi right now, and I would like do it, but I would just say things, and I would just like be very poetic with it and very dramatic, and I was like, oh, this is kind of like freestyling. So then I was just like, all right, now I just need to get like oomph. So then one day I was just sitting there in my room. I was just like, oh, let me just pull out GarageBand and just do this. Like, what am I waiting for? And I like had my headphones and I spent like an hour and I just made Misfit. Like I made the beat and then I like made the words like really quickly. Like it just happened. It just happened. And then yeah.
And, but you mentioned your cousin being like really influential to you, and like what kind of, you said that your cousin was kind of like an inspiration, or like what role did
so she
play?
like just like support. So like living in like Warrensburg, Knob Noster, and then also like my parents were really religious. We both like grew up just being like, we got each other. Like no matter what, like I got you. Not like it doesn't matter. Like you're beautiful. Like that kind of like community. Like there's no community in a lot of like small towns. And like a lot of places, like people don't get that, like it's not accessible like that. You just go on the internet. We'd go on the internet and we'd just like find that community. The only community things we had was like Pride. We'd come all the way to Kansas City to like see Pride, or there's like a gay bar in Columbia we like would go to. But other than that, so we were just like, it doesn't matter. Nothing matters. Just that like we love ourselves and keep going. And that's what she was. But also she was just like so compassionate, and then she was artistic. She sang and just like, just all those things. But we don't really know why she died. She was like drinking, and I don't know. It's like
sad.
Yeah, it's like really sad because I don't know if it was just like, I just don't know. My family doesn't talk about it. It's just like one of those things.
And so what really happened after you ended up posting Misfit, and like what kind of feedback were you getting? And
Nothing. No, but it was cool though, because I was just like, oh, this is cool, I made this. But then I started like reading my poetry to like lo-fi music and putting it on SoundCloud. But I took it down because I just didn't want to give people that, like I want to come back with that again. But yeah, so I just like started, like, so I made Misfit, and I was kind of playing before that. Like Misfit was the first song I created that was like an actual piece. Like I like would write, but it'd be like whack, and it'd be like booty this, and like, like just talking about like trap stuff, and like, like pulling from like something goofy. And I was like, why don't I just get serious? And then when I started taking myself seriously, I was like, okay. But then I didn't really start taking myself seriously until someone was just like, yo, like someone wants to work with you and produce you. And so I was just like, what? Like you have all this talent, and you want to pour that into me? Like I'm just putting my heart out, I'm just like being myself, and it's just wild, like. Yeah.
Did you have a background in poetry before you started doing that?
I just started doing it.
Did you like grow up doing like any type of art?
I've done like basis? Art, I've like touched a lot of things, like so like I've touched film. Like in high school I took like a film production class, and I won like third at nationals for like FBLA. Like it was like this video competition. It was like a texting while driving video.
Nice. Like
we had to make one of those, yeah. And so but other than that, like I didn't like really, I was just like mediocre, I felt like, at art. But I also like didn't have the confidence, I feel like your art is a reflection of yourself, and if you're reflecting like how you feel, like I wasn't being secure with, like I was insecure with my strokes, like when I would paint. But now like when I paint, it's just different. Like I feel confident. I'm like, this doesn't have to be this, I feel like I was comparing myself to everything around me, when art isn't something you can't compare art. Like someone put a toilet in the museum and like has made a lot of money from that, and then people have made like spent tons of time on like an oil painting. It might not like be able to sell that. It's about your own worth and how you like. I don't know. The world's weird.
Yeah, and like I feel like a lot of stuff is just really about how you present yourself, and like how seriously you take your own work, because people will kind of start to notice that and take you more seriously because of it. So.
Yeah, I just started taking myself seriously, and I was just like, I have something to say, and I have people to touch, and I'm coming from a dark place and making it beautiful.
And so you mentioned you get that message, and that was Duncan that wanted to work with you?
Yeah, Duncan Burnett, yeah. And, well, actually it was Duncan and Dom, because, so, like, Chase hooked me up with them. He was, like, the person that, like, connects us all, like, all of us together in the arcade. And I had messaged Duncan, or Dom before, and I was like, hey, I would like to work with you, but I've never worked with the producer before. Like, I don't really actually know what I'm doing. What's your rate? And he was just like, oh, we'll talk about it. And then when, like, we met in person, they were just like, I want to work with you. Like, I ain't trying to, like, work with you. I'm trying to work with you. Like, that's just, like, a different feeling when someone's just like, let's build. And I'm like, I didn't even realize I was building, Like, I didn't even know I didn't realize I had a hammer this whole time. And you're just like, and I didn't realize I was already building, like, the foundation. But you're just like, oh, okay, I already got the roof up. I already got this. And I'm like, what? How is there already a house now? Like, I don't know.
That's what happens when you link. You have to build next. Like, come on, let's say.
Yeah.
But so yeah, you mentioned you're working with them at the arcade, which that's like Duncan's home studio.
Yeah. So Duncan, like, runs out of his studio, and it's called the arcade because, like, we don't play no games.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
But yeah, how long have you been working with those guys?
Okay. I need to, like, write all this stuff down. I feel like I've only been working with them for 3 months. It has not been long. Maybe 4 months.
It feels like it's been a lot longer, I think. Just because, like, I don't know, I see you, like, just pictures of you on, like, Instagram pop up, like, every other day. Like, you're in the studio with them, you're doing a show.
Whenever I wrote Zoom In, that was the first time we ever met, like linked up.
Yeah.
I do not know what day that was. I think it really hasn't been, it feels like it's been longer. Wait, okay, so it had to be, like, in November. It hasn't been long, though.
Yeah. So, so you just pretty much just jump in with them, and you've just written, like, a good handful of songs since you've been working with them?
Zoom In, like, okay, so after I wrote Misfit, I just started, like, writing music. I was just like, I'm gonna just make some songs. And so I was standing on the corner of a street, and I was just, the way that I get my inspiration is very like when I'm experiencing something. So I was just kind of feeling like, that 9 to 5, like, life, like, trying to pay bills and trying to get, like, what I gotta do to do what I gotta do. And I was just like, I'm zooming. I don't know what I'll be doing. And then I was like, I'm zooming. I don't know what I'll be doing, because I was just like, cars were like, and I just kept repeating that to myself, and I was just like, I'm zooming. Wait, I don't know what I'll be doing. And I was just like, oh, that's kind of cool. And then I was like, okay, let me try to make it into a song. And then I was just like, okay, this time when you approach it, like, be a little, like, have your ego, but just, like, a casual ego, but not, like, don't be arrogant, but keep your ego, like, keep your dignity, be strong. And then I say, like, come vibe with the sunflower dyke. I really wanted to intentionally, like, reclaim the word dyke, because I used to be, like, afraid of, like, reclaiming, like, words like faggot and dyke. But since, like, Brockhampton and stuff, like, listening, well, like, that's just helped, like, along the way. But, like, reclaiming a word is just, like, so powerful. And so, like, Zoom In was just, like, created in 30 minutes. So, like, well, it was created before, but whenever I went to the studio, I already had this, like, the lyrics. So I just, like, rapped him the hook, and he was like, all right, let me try to make something. So then he started making a beat. And then he was like, all right, let me get on the bass real quick. And so then he was like, all right, you ready to record? And that was, like, the first time I ever recorded, like, in a studio with any equipment. He had to teach me, like, the right way to put the headphones on, all that stuff. And I was just like, all right. So I just hopped on there, and he was just like, what? People don't really just hop on a mic and they sound good the first time they ever do it, like... And it didn't take a lot of takes. Like, it was just done. We did it in 30 minutes, and it was cool. And then he was like, all right, what else you got? And then we made it I Am One With the Universe. Yeah, that was made right after. And that one I kind of, like, struggled on because I wrote the song on the spot. Like, that was my first time ever, like, creating like that. But, like, that's the way that, like, the song that I like, the show you're at, Rap Asylum 11, that's the way we made that song, the Ayo Supa What You Need, Like, he was just like, all right, let's go the direction, like, how we did The Universe. Let's just make something. And so, like, that's kind of like we create very organically. It's just like in the moment, I might have like maybe a hook made, and he's like, what are you feeling? And then he'll make a beat to what I'm feeling. And then the whole time he's making the beat, I'm just like, as he's creating the beat, I'm like writing the words and like trying to create the words or like create like the path I want to go on.
Do you feel like that kind of gives you an advantage over people who just like swap beats over emails and just like kind of sit at home and then, do you think your process really like kind of
like
helps you out with that?
He's not really like mentoring me, honestly. I'm just observing, like I'm just watching his work ethic, but he puts his work ethic, like online. Like I started like paying attention to the way he creates, the way he speaks, about like music, and I was just like, all right, like let me do my research. So then I feel like it does give me an advantage to like create with the producer, like, but you can link with people, like there's a lot of I've had like a lot of people hit me up like, hey, let's link. Like there's people who want to do like free work, like it's just about like if y'all vibe, like it's all about like that connection, like you don't have to use like a YouTube beat, you don't have to like do that. Like there's ways to like create the vibration you need for your like your sound. And I feel like it also depends on the person. Some people are just too nervous, or some people need to create a certain way. I like creating like because I don't always like write my whole song in studio. I like go back home. Like whenever I wrote when I finished The Universe, I got so frustrated with myself, and as soon as we got done, I went home and I worked on it till it was like 2 a.m. in the morning, and then I finished the song because I was just like so frustrated because I was like, why can I not finish this? But then I was like, oh, because I'm forcing it. You just gotta like relax. And then it always comes to me like so easily when I'm just like, whew, and then the words just come. So.
And I remember, I think like at Rap Asylum, or like just when I was talking to you sometime recently, you mentioned just how casually the Supa Flowa song came about too, and just how that's kind of been an emblem of like your music so far.
Yeah, so the way that like the word Supa Flowa came about, which I think I might start going by Supa Flowa as like my artist name. I just gotta like figure that shit out. But like I was like, I was freestyling with Tati, and I was just like, hey, a sunflower with those superpowers. And I was like, oh, okay, a sunflower with those superpowers. And then I just wrote it in my notes. So like I'll just like take lines, and like, so then like chop that up, and then I was just like a Supa Flowa. And then I just like, because my name is Ayana, and Ayana means beautiful flower. And so I connected that, and I was just like, like sometimes I just feel like the way that like I just keep moving is just like I feel like a superhero right now with like my message, So if my name is a Supa Flowa, I'm gonna like try to stay, like I'm gonna stay to that, like if your name is Lil Xans, you're gonna keep rapping about Xans, like you're not gonna change it up and start like, I mean you could, but it's just like I'm trying to like manifest, like what I want. Like I want to be just like not with like the positive vibe like movement. I just want to just be.
And let me see here. What we got? Oh yeah, so you have done like you've done like maybe 5 or so live shows so far?
I think it's like 6.
6? Mm-hmm. And so what was, like you mentioned to me earlier that like you still do get a little nervous about them, but like just tell me about like the first show that you ended up having, because I'm sure that was probably like the most difficult.
Oh yeah, okay. So the first show, like I packed out Uptown Arts Bar, which like a lot of people don't do. I wasn't actually expecting a lot of people there. I was just like, oh cool, I know some homies will be there, and I'm just gonna rap this. It's gonna be casual, And then like more people started showing up, and I was just like, why are y'all here? Like y'all are like really supporting me, And I just got quiet, People were wanting to talk to me, and I was just like, hey, what's up? And so then I just like started like calmly like breathing myself, and I was just like, what, like it's cool, everything's chill. Like people literally just came out on a Tuesday or a Wednesday to like sit here and see you rap. That's kind of cool. So then I just got on stage, but I'm like I was familiar with the Uptown Arts Bar because I've done poetry there. So like it was like a cool transition because I know, I just know how like what my voice sounds like. Because your voice sounds different when you like talk in a mic, at least at that venue. Because different venues, like you sound different. Like it's just like different experiences depending on where the speakers are pointed at. And so I just like hopped up there, and then everyone was just like, Yana, Yana. And I was just like, what? This is so weird. And then I was just like, you know what? This is cool. And then I was just like, if I mess up, I'm just going to, and I practiced a lot. I practiced like every single day. If I was just not at work, I was practicing like, okay, like practicing like this. You have to think about like your mics, like you have to hold a mic. You have to like, I was just like thinking about everything I would have to think about. I was researching, I was watching people perform. And then I just like performed, and I was just like, damn, like this is so cool. Like people came out, and then they just like, people like learned my words as I was like rapping, and I was just like, y'all don't even know these songs. These songs aren't even out yet. You just like learn the words. Like, I don't know. It was cool though. And that was the first show.
Yeah. And so how do you think your performance has kind of evolved since then? Okay,
so it was 6 shows. First show, my voice was like very scratchy. I had no like vocal control, except maybe a little bit, but also like I was having to scream because like I sounded better even without a mic, because it was just like my mic was turned down so low. So, you know, having to learn to work through those like experiences live. So I was like, all right, cool. Second show, it was a rooftop party at like a house, and I like was performing in front of it was like a whole bunch of punk bands before me. So I was just like, crap, I don't know this, like I don't know anyone here, you know. I was used to like that energy and so I was just like, you know what, it doesn't matter, these people don't know you. And so then it was cool, but I wasn't able to gauge the audience, and I thought no one was like really like bopping with it, but they were. And so like I had to learn like to use the crowd, you know, and like watch the crowd, like watch that they're actually like feeling it. And so then the third show, I don't really remember which one that was, but now like fast forward to the 6th show. The one before that, it was like casual at the Uptown Arts Bar, and it was like the Intelligent Sound like closing show of the year. And it was all right. I don't think it was my best performance, because I was trying to like do something different and not be as hype by controlling my voice. But by doing that, I like was like too contained, and like that it didn't really work. So then this last show, I feel like I've definitely grown, but it's because like literally Duncan was just like, just think about this. And he said it before the show, and I was just like, oh, why didn't I think about that? So then I just applied it, and all it is that I just have too much energy. Like the only, like he said, like the main problem I have when I perform is just I get too hyped that I don't have any air left. Like I'm not rapping over my words, you know, that's all my words. So it's just like learning how to contain that. So since my first show, I feel like I've learned how to contain my voice, but also like go organically, like if we're moving a certain way, because that's the way Duncan's shows are, like organic, like keeping that energy, not using all of my energy, and just like kind of having fun. But I was very nervous before. I've been very nervous before every single show, just because I am holding myself to like, I'm just like, there's people here, like people are spending their energy and time, and that's why I get nervous, because I'm just like, you know, like you don't want to go out to something and you're just, like I know how it feels like to go out, and then you're just like, I just spent $5, like, and like that person was even like, you know, like I want people to experience something and to feel, and I think it's because I put that like weight on my shoulders that like makes me nervous about it. But it's like, it's just a whole thing.
Yeah, and I think that's actually like not a bad problem to have, like having too much energy, like because you know some people get up on a stage and they just kind of freeze up and like they're real quiet and shy. So I guess it's one thing to do that, but it's another to just, you know, go all out and just end up out of breath. So
yeah, but also I feel like I didn't realize I was preparing myself for this like moment. I've just been dancing, you know, but I'm not like the best dancer, but anytime like at the Crossroads, I would just like get in the dance circle, and so I'm used to like having to improvise and freestyle in a moment. So I know like if I was to like forgetting some words, I could just like, all right, let me just do some dance and like improv, like just be myself, you know, because everyone messes up. So I feel like that like helps relieve the pressure, because that's how I learned how to dance. I just like would battle people, like pretty much probably how like people like have like started off with rapping, like just like battling people that are better than them. I learned how to dance by I would battle people intentionally that are better than me, so then I could watch like how they move. And I was like, oh, I could just go on YouTube instead of doing all that. But then like I still did it, but yeah.
Is it, you never had any like formal dance training or anything? No. Yeah, man, it seems like you're very into being like self-taught and everything. Is that something that you've just kind of grown up doing, or?
Yeah, because there's just everything. Like cooking, I've taught myself how to cook, eating healthy, like knowledge. I feel like it's because people like they plant the seed, and then I'm like, all right, let me run with the seed. Like I see the seed. Like Duncan hasn't sat down and just like taught me, like he hasn't taught me music, you know. He hasn't taught me like this is how you write a song, you know. I've like went and sought that knowledge because I want to like keep it professional, you know. I want to keep up. I want to like I want to keep that drive and like keep up with the pace, just because I'm like I don't want to show that I'm like just been rapping for 6 months, you know. I don't want to be just like a 6-month rapper, like, you know. I just want to be like a rapper. I just want to be an artist, you know, because it's just all these different like intersects of like artistic abilities that I put into that, you know.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, I feel like even when you're just around like a good group of people that is like just has a really good talent, like it's kind of hard not to like kind of soak up some of their like techniques or work ethics or something like that.
Yeah, and I think also seeing Duncan live, like kind of, and watching, honestly, before my show, that energy that Dom like brought, I wasn't just watching his show. I was analyzing the way that he was controlling his breath. Like that's what I was doing the whole time he was performing. Every person that opened before me, like they had like pretty good like breath control. Like Sauce has really good breath control, and so that was in my head. I was just like, all right, just watch what they do, and pay attention to how they break up their words. So.
And so so I think you've said that the EP that you're working on is going to be called Supa Flowa,
yeah,
right?
Supa Flowa.
So how's work on that going?
I think it's done, but it's not done. You know, like the songs are done, the concept's done, but now I'm just like waiting for like the moment and when it's like the right time to drop it, because it like you don't have to rush creativity, you don't have to rush anything, like, you know, whenever it's meant to like come out, it's gonna come out. Yeah,
and to have like a solid project out in your first year, like you don't like, you know, you've been working on it for 7 months. I think that's like, to put it out now would like, it could feel kind of rushed. So
yeah, and I'm just like, you know, like trying to figure out like where I want to go, you know, if I want to change it up. Also, like you can't sit on something too long, you know, like it's just all about. But it's like it really doesn't matter, because it's just music, and it's all the logistic and marketing and all that doesn't matter. But I think like personally, like I want to be ready. I want my craft to be like there. I want to be like, because I'm gonna like be performing, you know, the project. So I want to be able to be like, yeah, every single show I've done is like what I want it to be. So.
And so I know you've worked a lot on it with Dom and Duncan. Is there anyone else that kind of pops up on it, or?
We might be throwing like a feature with Beck on it, but I honestly just wanted. Besides Beck being on the feature, there's no features. It's just me.
That'd be really cool though, because I remember Beck sent me a song she made like probably like a year ago, and she's
good.
never
She's
released anything. No, yeah, and I always see everyone on Twitter like pushing her, like, oh, you need to drop something this year. You gotta
be ready for that though, like, because I feel like it's just like that. You gotta be confident, you know. Like, not saying she's not, but I don't think she's not. It's not her time yet. Like, you know, like she's just sorting out life and doing her thing. Like, her time will come, because her stuff is good. She's a good writer too.
Beck, if you're listening, please drop some music this year. It's Beck. Really good, and we'd like to hear it.
Stop sleeping on yourself, Beck.
No, but okay, what else did I want to get to? Oh yeah, and so.
Oh, what did you ask? You asked if anyone else was working on it. Also with the EP, I don't curse at all. Like, and that's like the challenge I like brought to the table, like for myself personally. Like, there's no cursing at all, because I feel like I like the challenge of not using curse words in my music, at least right now, because I don't need that as the expression. It's like searching for new words. I feel like I'm not saying it's like people who curse are lazy, but I just think like it becomes a challenge. Like, you can rap damn with like so many things. You could just be like, hey, damn, oh, damn. But like, just to be like, all right, okay, what can I say instead of that? Or what am I even trying to say? You know, like, and also like, you know, is there other like ways to like release that same like energy but in a different word, because I want people who are like really young that's LGBT to be like, oh, I'm looking up to this person. But also I want like, you know, like how Chance did with Chance 3 with like how Chance 3 like moved the gospel scene, and how he just like touched like people of all ages. And like I remember my mom, she was like, oh, I'm bopping to this, like, but I feel conflicted because she's very Christian, you know. I want people to look into me and be like, oh wait, that person's queer, like I didn't even know, like, you know, like, because I'm not like, oh, I'm gay, you know, like I'm just like, I'm real casual about it, because I want people to just be like, oh, okay, that's really cool, like that's cool. Like,
no, yeah, you just kind of like want the opportunity to cross over if possible, and, you know, create a new fan base, and, you know, probably just gain the acceptance of a lot of people who
honestly
aren't like
I think
that.
like I just want my mom to listen to my music and just confuse her. Like for her to just be like, oh my, look, my mom has like, she likes Misfit, like, and she's like, I've rapped her like a lot of my music, but I want people like from my mom's church like listening to that, you know, like I want people like in the church listening, like I want anyone, because I'm talking about positive things, you know, it can be applied to like Christian things, you know. I'm talking about like slapping someone with positivity and like, you know, like it's all on you, like you got this, you know, and you moving forward. Duncan does the same thing, and he's not like a Christian rapper, but you know, he's not religious, but he's spiritual and Christian, you know, like I'm spiritual, but I'm not tied to like Christianity, you know.
And so maybe once you pull in the church crowd, you can drop a couple bombs, but no, I'm kidding. But no, it's a good approach, I think. And yeah, what did you grow up listening to a lot of hip hop, or what was kind of like the music you grew up on?
I listened to a lot of like gospel music, like Kirk Franklin. We listened to a lot of Lecrae. I listened to so many Christian rappers. I can't even. We listened to a lot of like remixes of pop music, and like into like Christian music, and that's like my mom still listens to that, you know. And so there was a point where I was just like, oh, I need more. Like this is not satisfying, you know. Whenever I kind of stepped away from that, and it's like I've done so much work to like find music, and I'm still like, there's still so much music that I've missed out like growing up on. I didn't have like my grandfather like always listening to this music. It was gospel. Like if it wasn't Christian and God wasn't in it. Same with movies. Like I wasn't allowed to watch Scooby-Doo growing up. I wasn't allowed to watch anime because it was the devil. We weren't allowed to like
probably like no Harry Potter. No.
Oh, I wasn't. And Little Pretty Liars. My dad was like on like a couple of those seasons because he's a cinematographer. We were in high school, and my mom was like, no. And we're like, yo, this is the show that like my dad's on, like, and there's a couple other ones that my dad was on, but we were allowed to watch like Medea movies, but there's like cursing in that. It's just, yeah. So
like, since you've kind of reached out and tried to like discover like musicians on your own now, like, are there any that you'd say you've like really connected the most with?
Yeah, I feel like my biggest one that I always say is Princess Nokia, but I feel like that's like, I've seen her live, you know, like I've connected with her. Like that show was like,
yeah, she's great.
I feel like it was a beautiful moment for myself personally, and also like spiritually, but also like that feminine energy. It was just everything I needed as an artist. And then I actually wasn't listening to Brockhampton until Saturation 2, but like that's when I started really reclaiming the word faggot, like listening to Saturation 2. And then there's just so many artists now that I just like listen to Selection Radio, so there's just so much music that I'm putting into like just everything. It's just like so much.
And you mentioned Chance. Are you big into Chance right now?
Yeah, I'm big into Chance, but I actually don't listen to him. I feel like I listen to like more local things now, like recently, than I have like more underground. I feel like I like spend more time like listening to Pink Caravan, you know, like, because like I've met her, like I just, you know, like I really like what she's like, where she's going, like that sad happy like music. She's probably one of like my top favorite artists right now too.
No, yeah, and like I don't know, I feel like you know, just such a good chunk of the population is just like enamored with like celebrity and like famous musicians. So like, oh my god, if I could meet like Frank Ocean, that'd be the most amazing thing ever. And like, yeah, that'd be cool. But like, it's always cool, I think, when you meet people and you hang out with people who like appreciate the artists around them and just like really value those connections and like you know, end up listening to that music on a regular basis. I don't know.
Yeah, and then there's just like a lot of music that I listen to. Like I listen to Lord Narf. Lord Narf is dope. I listen to Cupcake the Freak. She's probably like one of like my favorite artists right now, but like I just can't, I have to be in the mood to listen to her. Like yeah, but I guess that's still mainstream. I liked what Willow put out like this last, like her alternative. Tyler Cole is dope. I really like where he's going with his music. Just like if it's like socially, like if it's on some like Ocean like type like spiritual conscious like vibe, then I'm listening to that. Like I feel like Ocean was like the turning point for me to be like, wow, like this feminine energy, and they're using their spiritual experience and their spiritual like walk through music. I feel like that really like, because that's what I do, you know, I'm just really talking about what I'm going through and my experiences through spirituality, because I started realizing that because I detached from Christianity, I still needed the foundation to like keep me sane, to keep me like grounded. Like I need something, like I can't just be like, what gives me my morals and values and makes me who I am.
What kind of like are there any like specific like practices or religions that you really pull from a lot, or
see, like that's actually what I'm in the process of doing. I'm trying not to like just pull pieces, you know, from like this religion and this religion, and I'm just like kind of like pulling within myself, you know, like pulling in from like people around me, like just like things they say, like I write it down, or like their knowledge. I guess it's not really a religion, it's just like practicing being present is like the main thing, and like reorganizing like the headspace in my like as if it's a room, but it's like my mind. And so that's kind of like the whole like present like type of concept is like my spiritual journey, because I don't want to just be like pulling from Buddhism. Well, I'm not Buddhist, and that's not like what I'm trying to do, you know. I'm trying to keep it to like be authentic and not just keep like taken, you know, like if I'm not going to practice, it's like kind of like what, you know, some people take like Christianity but they don't practice it, you know. But I think it's because like I grew up around religion, and I'm just like not like, the only thing that matters to me is like the present moment, and that's it right now, like with my spiritual. But also it's like I don't know what, like I've thought about like going deeper, but it's also like I don't know, time.
And I know you've mentioned before that you wanted, like you do want to perform at Pride, since that's kind of like a big event for you that you ended up driving out to and stuff.
Yeah, I want to do that for my cousin. Like that's the only reason why I want to perform at Pride, is just to be like, that was for you, you know. Because I'm like, there's like this line in this rap I'm working on is like, I think this angel got my back, and I'm like talking about her, but I just like she is like the angel that's been like guiding me. But I don't know if I'm getting signs from her, because I'm just like, I don't know if I'm not in tune to that. But I just know like Pride is something that's just like in my heart, that's like, oh, this has to be for her. But also like if it doesn't happen in Kansas City, then it's not meant to be. It's gonna happen. Like this year I will perform at some sort of Pride in some sort of state. Like that will happen. If it's not this Kansas, like if it's not Kansas City, that's okay. Like there's other Prides.
And but yeah, like what were the experiences like of actually, you know, getting to those events when you were younger, and like,
I was like, I'm gonna find my girlfriend.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, I'm about to find which is funny, because like I would talk to those people, and then we wouldn't talk again, like people I would meet at Pride, until like the next year at Pride, and they'd be like, are you going to Pride? And I'm like, yeah. But every time I've gone to Pride, I've danced on stage. Like I get pulled up by like the queens, and they're just like, you, and then like a dance on stage in front of like tons of people. Like there's so many people that go to Pride.
It kind of sounds like it's like a little like a summer camp event for you. You're just like going back every year, seeing the same people, and you know.
But it's like we don't really like, we're not like, hey, how you doing? We're just like, I know that person. Or I've seen that person's like profile online, like on some like dating site or something.
Yeah, it's kind of how it works when you just like see someone on Instagram. You're like, I don't know if I'm saying hi or not. But that's cool. You're here.
But it's like also like you don't want to. It's like, am I gonna go say hi to this person and say hi and then that's it? And then it's just like, or I'm like, do I know you? And then they end up coming to me and I'm like, oh crap, I don't remember your name. I don't know how to make small talk because I'm just like, okay, I'll just like talk about this present moment because I don't know how we know each other, but I guess we know each other.
Yeah.
I suck at that. But there's like so many people in the world.
There's several billion. That's
There's like this website where you can like watch the population grow. Like I posted on my story and it's just like, and it starts counting the number of like people that have like that's like living, and it's just this huge like, it's just like a little person like little drawing, and it's just like duplicating like.
Is that something you spend a lot of time watching?
I just like I
don't even need Netflix. Let's go. Let's just watch.
I was like sometimes I just get bored and like I'm spending a lot of time on the internet, and I was like, ooh, what are like weird websites? And so you just like type in weird websites online. So then I just typed in weird websites online, and then like, you know that one with like that weird whale thing and it like spazzes out, like that popped up. There's like this one where you like slap an eel. But like someone spent, like the thing that like gets me about the things on the internet, someone spent time to like code that and create that, or had someone like create that and they pay for that domain name for that. Like I don't get it.
Is it a pretty casual thing for you, or like, cause did you, like you mentioned that you spent a lot of time on the internet like with your cousin, like just because you didn't have much of a community wherever you were at the time.
If I'm not finding something weird from the internet, I'm not living. Like if I haven't found something like weird, or if I'm not like going deep and lurking on something random, then I'm not living my life to the fullest. I will spend too much time on the internet though. Like, okay, so I watch like dubbed anime instead of like regular anime, and so I was spending so much time trying to watch dubbed anime because I would like, I want to watch anime and keep up, and so like I'll Google, if it's not on Netflix, I'll Google dubbed anime, and then my computer got hacked because I like it like froze, and then it was just like this like stripe like thing on the screen, and then it was just blink because I was watching dubbed anime, because the anime gods are like, why are you watching dubbed anime? Dubbed anime sucks. Like, why are you doing this to yourself?
Yeah, hope that doesn't happen to me if I ever jump into that at all.
There's like certain websites that like you gotta trust. Like if it pops up with something, you gotta get off that website. But if it's like, it looks like more people are on that website, then you're probably cool.
We'll exchange some links later. Yeah. We'll figure something out. But yeah, so what all do you have coming up that people should be looking out for? I know, so you have the EP coming up, to be released sometime soon.
Okay, so
time.
I have like features that I'm like working on, but they're just like concepts. I guess like just working on myself and my craft. Like I'm just trying to, because I know like I can just feel that things are going, as soon as I drop my project, I'm gonna have to keep up. And so I don't want to get left behind and miss opportunities. So the things I'm working on is really just myself. I'm moving into a new apartment. I'm staying like sane and centered, finding like foundation, a practice, and writing. So then I'm just prepared for whatever opportunity, because like I've only been doing this for this long and I've like grown as a performer, as an artist. I'm sitting here on like talking about music and myself for I don't know how long, which is like so weird, because you know I would never see myself like making music or rapping, and I was just like, you know what, I just want to do it. Like nothing really matters, like, because it's just like, okay, if I fail, cool, like I had 1,000 likes on a YouTube video, who cares? Like, so
I think you'll go beyond that. I think, but yeah, life comes at you fast.
Yeah, so I'm just like, I'm honestly just trying to get like prepared mentally. I mean, I have like visuals that are gonna drop and like, you know, things like that. But that's, I guess you just gotta follow.
And I know you got at least one show coming up. You're playing in Lawrence at the White Schoolhouse.
Yes, not Valentine's Day, but February 16th. Like, it's gonna be dope energy because Duncan's DJing, Crystal's playing, I'm there. There's some other bands. I haven't looked into them yet, but it's going to be like a mixture of diversity. That's what I'm like really excited about. Like, I'm actually really excited. This is the most excited I've been about a show, and I don't know why. Like, I'm just like, I think it's because I know there's going to be a lot of queer people there, and a lot of my shows have been a mix of people, but I'm just really excited to just play. Like, I just know there's going to be a lot of queers. And that's what, I've just been waiting for that to just be, just perform for like a whole bunch of queers, and then they like go home and they're just like, yeah, dude, I could do that, or dude, like that's cool. Because like at my show, someone messaged me Rap Asylum 11, and like I had like a couple of people just saying thank you, like for your representation, and like just being you and being that representation I need to be an artist. And I'm just like, dang, like that was my only goal. Like that's the only goal I had, was just like, I just want to inspire some people. And I'm already doing it, and I'm just like I sent my music to someone, and I said, hey, like, they were feeling depressed, and I was like, listen to this. And I was just like, I just use my music as mental health. Like, that's uncomfortably, like, great. Like, it's just too cool. It makes me, like, it makes me feel, like, pressure, but, like, the good kind of pressure to just, like, just keep being authentic and just keep saying, like, you know, like, I've been depressed. I've gone through it. I might go through it again, probably will, could be going through it right now, but it's okay, you know, like, just be present. You just figure out your triggers and stuff, and what makes you sad and happy, and yeah.
Awesome. So yeah, do you have any shows besides that one in Lawrence, or is that it for now?
That's it for now.
Okay. And where can people find you online, find your music?
I do have a song with Dom, but that's not coming out.
Oh yeah.
That's on his project, what's it called?
Adventure Mode.
That's on Adventure Mode, which is so wild that I'm working with Dom. I'm working with all these people that are talking about things that I'm just like, dang, like we've been talking about this, and now we're collectively talking about that. That's pretty cool. But so my music is on SoundCloud, and then soon it'll be streaming everywhere. I have a video on YouTube, Supa Flowa. And then if you just, honestly, my biggest hub is Instagram, Supa Flowa, SUPA, no like hard ER, so Supa Flowa. Yeah.
Awesome. And people can find at Shuttlecock Mag on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. You can visit shuttlecockmusic.com for all the articles. There's a web store on there. It's a shuttlecockmag.bigcartel.com. We got t-shirts and zines and buttons. And there's another Shuttlecock house party on this Friday, the 26th, at Stacy's Place. That's with Nancy Boys, Jonah P. and Ricky Roosevelt, Liquid Swords, and Ray Money. And that'll be fun. That's Friday, January 20th. September.
Ray Money.
No, yeah, Ray Money's great. January 26th at Stacy's Place, 8 p.m. Suggested donation, $5, all ages. And yeah, thanks for being on the show today.
Thank you for the platform. And also, like, this beef that people keep coming towards you, honestly, is whack, because you're providing, like, a space, and I appreciate it. Like, it's really cool, though, because, like, you're giving a platform to, like, hip-hop artists and, like, music artists, and you're just, like, putting it all together, and you're just like, hey, rock, hip-hop, all of it matters. It's just music. That's cool.
I'm not worried about anything. It's all good. But yeah, thank you.
I know you're not worried about it, but public announcement.
There we go. But yeah, thanks for being on.
Yeah.